So welcome to today's Greater Life CoffeeCast, and today on the subject of health we are talking batteries. And what I mean by that is a comment I heard a while back from a fitness trainer slash I guess health quote-unquote guru, a guy called Ben Greenfield, who written a number of books, featured on various podcasts and stuff. Not that gives him super authority status, but he is someone who has read a lot of the studies. And so his opinion counts for perhaps more than your average Instagram health coach. And one of the things that really struck me in a comment that he shared was about how optimal health comes down more than we might think to regarding the human body as a battery, as a thing that if we can charge it up with sufficient electricity will give us the energy to go. And one of the reasons why this struck me at the time was because I was immersed in the research of a lady called Eileen McCusick, who has written all about two elements, really at the cutting edge of kind of health and well-being, which is sound healing. Ultimately, when we strip everything else away, we human beings are comprised of varying vibrations and frequencies of sound and light. That is the substrate of our entire reality, is sound and light. And so, not surprisingly then, we know that different frequencies of sound can produce different effects, both positive and negative. And that's why you have, is it psychotronic warfare? Which is basically the use of sound to disable the enemy. But of course, wherever you have the capacity for warfare-based technologies to inhibit a population, you can also have those same modalities in different ways used to liberate and help and heal a population. And so the research of Eileen McCusick alongside this comment from Ben Greenfield really struck me, because what it brought together was this idea that we human beings are electrically based, right? That and one of the things that Eileen McCusick says is forget this idea of that it kind of gets trotted out in the new age of raising your frequency or raising your vibration. And what she advocates for is raising your frequency. Raising your voltage. There's me, but that's how ingrained these phrases are, right? And that's not to say that anyone who's saying, raise your vibration, raise your frequency, is doing you a disservice, because likely they ultimately mean the same thing, which is how can we increase our base state of vitality. And both Ben Greenfield and Eileen McCusick come at this from the angle of how can we support ourselves to be, of an optimal electrical charge, right? And so how can we raise our voltage? And so for this CoffeeCast today, my invitation is to explore, I think it was 6 elements that Ben Greenfield offered. Cold, heat, movement, sunlight, the earth, and supplementation. And so I can cover each of those, right? So cold and heat, right? Which is the idea. You look at the whole kind of Wim Hof stuff that's sweeping the world right now, like cold exposure, the benefits of that to our circulation, to our mental health, to our, enabling our body to create certain types of really good quality fats, brown adipose tissue, for example. So we know that cold is, profoundly powerful as a way of supporting better health. And in fact, whilst the jury is still out on the provable benefits of, say, ice baths and cold showers, excuse me, one of the only absolute certainties to come out of some of the genuine kind of formal peer-reviewed research on cold exposure, cold therapy, is that those people who regularly took a cold shower bounced back from illness. Their resilience from illness was far greater than those who didn't. So you had a group in the study who took regular cold showers and a group who didn't. And the impact on being able to bounce back from illness was profound. So we have cold, we have heat, and so of course look across many, many different cultures, sweat lodges, saunas, steam rooms, all of this. Like, we know that there is something very powerful when our body can sweat. And of course, our skin is the largest organ of detoxification. Okay, and so sweating will be one of the ways in which we can rid our system of toxins. So knowing, therefore, that when we give ourselves the opportunity to be heated up, our capacity to allow ourselves to rid our body of some of the toxins that might otherwise clog up, even as a starting point, is a reason why, we should have heat on our list. Okay, movement. So our bones particularly are piezoelectric, which means that they generate an electrical charge when they are put under compression, I think it is. And by the way, throughout these, this is just me riffing on some of the things that I've come across in my journey to understand how we humans can be at our optimal state. And so I appreciate that your particular individual circumstances may be unique, and indeed that I don't have any alphabets after my name. I'm simply sharing things that I hope may be useful and that you can check out in your own time to find a recipe that works for you. But movement, our bodies are designed to move, and they say that I remember this great little video which was, which of these is most damaging to your health? And like on an office chair, they'd put like a Big Mac and a big, can of soda and some chocolate and, some other kind of quote unquote unhealthy foods. And they removed all of these and they left in the image the office chair. And the idea being that, of course, sitting is the new smoking, right? But we know the results of a sedentary lifestyle are really, and this is something I wrestle with in my own life, is just how tight, for example, my hip flexors have become, just how tight my hamstrings have become, and therefore how painful at times my lower back can become. So, cold, heat, movement, sunlight. We are electrical beings. And I'm going to bring in sunlight and earth, okay? So that, although it seems a bit woo-woo wishy, again, the peer-reviewed studies are absolutely unequivocal, and there's been loads of them, about the benefits, particularly to reducing inflammation, of getting your bare feet on the ground. That there is an exchange of electrical charge that occurs, and this seems to have a profound impact on inflammation throughout the body. We also know, of course, particularly more than ever since the world of COVID, the impact of sunlight on vitamin D, among other things. And the other thing that I would offer you is that this goes way beyond. There is my friendly local neighbour who is shouting at his dog. His dog is called Ted, as you may be able to hear. So the other thing I would invite you to consider is that this goes beyond just the peer-reviewed formal things like sunlight bringing greater vitamin D. Because health, of course, is not just about your physical vitality. We know that there is both a placebo effect and a nocebo effect, right? So when we bring these physical benefits that we've discussed from heat, cold, sunlight, earthing, movement, we also have the less tangible but very real mental health benefits, well-being benefits. And then the final piece in what Ben Greenfield was suggesting around how we can treat our body as a battery and therefore enjoy optimal vitality and, in Eileen McCusick's words, raise our voltage for optimal health, is supplementation. And that's just making sure that we get the right balance of vitamins and minerals. And a great place to start, of course, is with what we call a live foods, which has got a lot of, what are they called? Phytonutrients, that's what I'm looking for, phytonutrients. So the more kind of like, if we can have something raw with each meal, again, are, just supporting our system with the right fuel is a great starting point. And of course, there's a whole host of over-the-counter vitamins and mineral supplements you can get. And I'll be honest with you, I've not done sufficient research into which of those are the best and why. And we will certainly cover that in future health editions of the Greater Life Daily News, so that you've got as much insight and information as you could possibly need. But there we are. So that is a little Greater Life CoffeeCast on the topic of health regarding the human body as a battery. So today, what can you do to get some cold in your system, get some heat in your system, get some movement in your life, get your feet on the ground, perhaps enjoy the sunshine, and what supplements might you need for optimal health? All right, I'll see you next time.